Hey everybody, Todd Michael Putnam from Creative Adventure Tables bringing you another adventure table idea, and this is the journey to Frostpeak Mountain. The journey to Frostpeak Mountain. So the short version of the story is just that travelers have been disappearing on Mountain Shade Road, which is this road right here, which of course is underneath the shadow of the mountain, so that's how it's got its name, is Mountain Shade Roads. And but travelers have been going in there, and they've been disappearing, not being able to make it to their destination, just disappeared without a trace. Of course, local authorities go out, and they, other adventurers, and they got rid of some bandits and some goblins and the usual, suspects of such things. But the disappearances continue to happen, and eventually, with everything else eliminated, it was determined that whatever the threat was, whatever the mysterious threat was, must be nestling itself up at the top of Frostpeak Mountain and coming down and from there in order to hunt its prey. And so adventurers were hired to journey up to the top of Frostpeak Mountain and determine once and for all what the threat is and eliminate it. So as far as the way the adventure would work, players, you can always add other stuff traveling through the mountains and through the wilderness around it. You can have, wolves and bears and stuff like that. Or you can, of course, there could still be a roving band of like an orc war band that they come across. It all depends on the level of the players that you're going with. And then the players would have to make a series of checks going on up to climb up the various sides of the cliff. Here, they might be just standard checks here, and then they could be like at a disadvantage, or they could be at a higher difficulty degree level, depending on whatever game system you're playing, when they're trying to climb up to the top of the ice sides as well, when you get closer to the top, and then face whatever the final monster. It could be a young white dragon, it could be a yeti creature, it could be whatever it is that you want. It all depends on the level of the players themselves. Mostly, though, why I did this was literally because I wanted to see if I could create a mountain-type adventure, to see what it would take in order to build it. And as it happens, I have 4 of these pieces here. These big pieces right here are the wall display from Game of Thrones. It's a toy. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it. They're about 50, 55, 60 bucks, something like that with shipping each. They come looking like this. This is what its actual color is. And then I had 4 or 5 of them, I can't remember, repainted to be the stone color. So it looks like, or not stone color, but a brown, like an earthy type color. And then the other 2 that I have up here, I just left their original. So I thought, you know what? I could just have multiple levels climbing up. And I'm going to sneak around the back so you can see the super high-tech magic that brings all this to life, which is basically 22-ounce glasses stacked to one another, and 4 of them stack up to be almost the perfect height to where the mountain is. And then I just put a plate here, a 24 by, this one's 12 inch by 12 inch with the top here. Put some snow stuff on top of it, trees or whatever it is, and you're good there. This one here is 24 by 24 to cover up the distance there. Again, it's the same exact height from this, so it's just 4 little drinking glasses, 22 ounces there, and that basically is it. That holds it up. Throw your snow mat or whatever you want on top of it, and that creates most of the terrain. And then I added another level down here, my Todd tiles that you can download for free and 3D print at the STL files. They're available at thangs.com, THANGS.com. Just do a search literally for Todd tiles, TODD. TILES. There's a bunch of different varieties or whatever. So I just put a layer right around the baseline. So it basically makes like a 10-foot or so. If we put these here, the scale-wise, it basically, against some standard, it basically puts like a 10-foot lip around there. And then, of course, there's the climbing that goes up these. All of these have these little shelves on it. They come with these like little nubs from there. You could just kind of saw those off, if you will, and then they make perfect things for when the players are trying to climb up and they make checks. They can go up the cliff that way. So you might want to give them strength checks or dexterity checks or whatever it is, possibly acrobatic checks, depending on how you wanted to run it. And of course, if they fail those checks, you can decide whether or not they just instantly fall or whether or not they're able to possibly save themselves by making another check at disadvantage, however you wanted to work that. But that's how the levels are built as far as those. And then I accentuated them using Monster Fight Club. And basically, with the exception of the battle mat itself, the grain grass, which is from WizKids, these are their grassland mats, and I have 2 of them. They're 3x5s, and I've got 2 of them laying side by side. With the exception of that, pretty much everything else on this table is from Monster Fight Club. They have a tremendous variety of trees, as you can see. None of these trees are painted by me. These are all the pre-painted colors that are on the trees you get. You can get the trees unpainted and paint them whatever color you want as well, of course. But I ordered them just at the colors that they're at, and they have the different varieties of green and orange, and there's snow, and then there's like blighted pines that they have, that there's like a little reddish tinge to it. Or like more of a brownish tinge to it. Then you've got the snow-covered pines here. You've got the different type of orange trees and whatnot. This one, I take it back. This one here, I did have repainted. It's more of a reddish type color, so I take that back. I lied to you. That one particular one, and I think I might have one other here that's repainted a slightly reddish color. But so the way these work is, there's 2 different heights to these. There's one taller one, and then there's one that's slightly smaller. And then there's 2 different types of the treetops. There's the smaller treetop, and there's like a larger one. And you can just do it single, or you could throw this on top of it. Or with the smaller ones, like we've got over here, you can put just this on it. Or if you want to have something that looks like it's much more lower to the ground, if you will, you can take one of the shorter trees like this and go ahead and put one of these bigger tops on it, and you can see that there's less of the actual trunk that can be seen, and it's more like the foliage canopy is closer to the ground. So between the 2 types, the 2 heights of those tree trunks, and then the 2 different types of coverage that you can put on there, and then of course the multiple colors that you can do, whether it's the green or the orange. They also have yellow. There's blue, I believe, that you can get. There's also pink that you can get. With the different colors, you can create a whole myriad of treescapes that really creates variety in your eye and just makes you feel like, wow, that's a natural thing. And my rule for nature, to try and make things look natural, is to do a rule of 3s. So that there isn't a pattern. Anytime you see a pattern, your brain usually says it's man-made, with the exception of if it's a pattern on the specific thing. In other words, if it's a pattern on a single flower, then your brain goes, oh, that's a natural pattern. But if the flowers are planted in a pattern, grew in that, it's almost immediately your brain goes, oh, somebody planted them that way. They did not grow in this specific pattern that way. And so with creating treescapes and anything like that, you want to have a pattern of trees of a variety of heights, and a variety of colors, and a variety of styles. And when you create those 3 different varieties, multiples of each of those 3, that's what creates a more natural looking landscape that just makes your brain buy into it and go, oh yeah, I believe this looks like it's a much more natural experience. So that's why I invested in getting so many, and I didn't do it all immediately at once, but over time, I've been building up my Monster Fight Club tree collection so that I could do something like this. And this doesn't show off all of them. Like I said, I've got blue trees, and I've got pink trees, and I've got yellow trees, all of which are from Monster Fight Club pre-painted. And then I've also got purple ones that I had repainted. But this is a pretty good setup where you can see the winter trees here, like up on the top. And you can see that I also have the variety, because there's the winter pines like this, right? This is a short base tree with 3 of the caps on it. This is a tall base tree that's got 4 of the caps on it. What I mean by canopy caps is, right, so there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4, right? So you can stack them however you want. Like I could take this off and make it a different size tree. I could take that one off and make it a different type. So that flexibility is what allows you to create the different sizes and styles of trees that are there that helps fool the eye into thinking that it's natural. Okay, and then you can also do stuff like this where you don't even use don't even use a tree trunk. You literally just take a couple of these and you set it right down, and it basically looks like, oh, okay, there's one of a young tree, and it's growing, you know, almost like a Christmas tree, growing right up from the ground. You can see I did another one with the red one right next to it right there. But as you pan back, that variety really jumps out at you, and you're like, wow, that looks much more natural. And then I have some of the snow trees, snow-covered trees of this style. I don't know if they just came out with them or how long they had them, but these are the most recent things that I personally added. Again, this is 2 different canopies that are put on top. So there's one canopy on, I think, yeah, that's one of the tall tree trunks. And then you put the other smaller canopy on top of that, and it just gives you a different experience than, for example, this one here, which is a large canopy on top of one of the short trunks. You can see how close that one is to the ground versus how much space this one has from the trunk to the ground for the bottom of the canopies. So just depending on how you arrange the canopies and how many of them on top of what type of tree trunks, you create a very natural looking effect that I highly recommend. If you're not a craftsman that wants to spend the time and effort and energy making your own trees, if you don't have a 3D printer to print and paint your own trees, I strongly recommend the Monster Fight Club trees. These are, I have to say, these are my go-to trees for anything that I have to do nature-wise. They do such a fantastic job. In addition to the trees, there's also the rocks that they have, the various rocks, and I can show you several different colors here. So this is the gray rocks that they have, and there's different types. There's these, they're going to go with, this is the small one, and then this is a large one, and then this one right here is the medium or intermediate type one. You can actually put these together, not over the top of the road, but you can actually put these together. They're designed to work this way so that you can create a mountain to play on. And then all of these have different steps on them that are basically great for 28 millimeter minis to stand on in order to be able to do fighting and stuff like that. So it becomes very tactical. It's pretty terrain, but it's also usable terrain, and that's what I like most about them. It's very usable, very user friendly, but also very organic looking. So they do a fantastic job. So there's the gray ones. I also put some of the brown ones over here. Again, there's your medium and there's your large one set up against that to just help bring a little bit of the extra natural look to it in front of the Todd tiles. Pardon my fingers there. And then there's the Frosted Hills one, like these guys right here that I put up next to the glacier, next to the, can't think of the name of them, next to the wall of the Game of Thrones wall display, just to try and add a little extra, natural appeal to it. Same thing, again, there's your smaller and your medium style ones. Those are the frosted. And then there's 2 other ones too. One's more translucent blue, and then there's another one that's more of a stronger blue-white color, possibly a little bit more pronounced than what you would see on these guys right here. So there's a variety of those Ice Wilds hills, glacier hills that you can find, and those are all fantastic as well. So then on top of that, from Monster Fight Club, there's a variety of other things. There's the roads, cobblestone roads, which as anybody who's been following me knows, I have wanted these things forever, and I've been using them in some of my recent builds. The cobblestone roads, I strongly recommend getting the neoprene mat ones. They store extremely well and they're less expensive. It's about $30 a set, and they are fantastic for that. There's a variety of different shapes to them, so you put them together however you want and create yourself a nice, naturally winding roadway through your town or through your forest or wherever it's going. But bonus, you flip them over and it could actually be a river because they have the same thing set up to be river tiles. So you get double usage out of them, whichever you want to do. And of course, there's no reason you can't do both. You can say, oh, okay, I've got a roadway going across here, and then I'll have a river coming this way that cuts it, that bisects it or whatever, and they have to jump across, or there's a bridge perhaps or something like that. Also with the neoprene here, they've got these small little ponds. It's a pond on one side. On the other side, it's basically a grass mat, which is perfect for if you want to put trees on top of that, if you don't have a large battle mat of your own, like this. Just putting that on top of that just helps give that foresty type feel to it. So maybe if you've got a dry erase mat or something like that, even still, when you put this on top of it and then you use these little mats here, it just helps give that natural effect just a little bit more. So you could do that either way. So in this case, I basically just have the pond side of it up. And then I also have some of their bushes on here. They have both the orange bushes for like an autumn bushes, and then they have bushes like this here for summer. There's two types of each of the bushes. There's the small single round, and then there's the larger one. And you can see like that's a 28 millimeter dwarf mini next to it to give you some kind of an idea of what the size is. So they've got this style, then they've got them in orange, and then they also have, I think I've got one right over here. They also have them, of course, in the snow covered type, both types, the small one like you see on the left and the other one you see on the right. Right there in the center, that guy there, that's Beast. You'll see him hiding in some of my adventures every now and then, especially if it has lots of Monster Fight Club stuff. Beast is celebrating his 5th birthday on, I think, October 31st. I think on Halloween. Monster Fight Club started 5 years ago, and he's the mascot for them. And so I like to have Beast hanging out during my adventures now and then, just roaming around, either usually helping the players, but sometimes just causing mischief as well. So he's fun to have. So that's it. That's what I used. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a couple other things, of course. There's so many other knickknacks that Monster Fight Club make. Like this right here is a fallen tree. This particular one is unpainted. It's brown, but it's unpainted. As far as it doesn't have all the details and stuff into it. There's a different type of fallen tree here, that like this one there. And then they also have fallen trees that have like the snowy look to them on top of it. So they've got, you know, like a light dusting of snow. So, and there's so many other things. They have small tree stumps and stuff. And there you go. There's one of the tree stumps, and they have different types of tree stumps as well. They've got a second type of tree stump besides this one that you can just throw in there, and it just helps bring the whole scene to life. It doesn't dominate anything, but it's just those extra little details that you can throw in there that really helps bring the entire thing to life. So there it is. That is the journey to Frostpeak Mountain, and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please, or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next adventure. Take care. Bye.